be an and can rest the band anytime they feel like it, and have. We cannot fire John and Mick in any way, shape, or form, and they cannot fire us. So Christine and I are always kidding each other if we're late for something, Christine will go, what are they going to do, fire us? And I'm going, you never know, Chris, on these days there may be an eviction notice on our dressing room that says girls dressing room, ex-girls dressing room, But that's the difference. There is no other band that has 5 people that not one of those people can fire.
Mick Fleetwood, John McVie, Christine McVie, Lindsey Buckingham, and Stevie Nicks. Their music and their personalities have fascinated millions of people all over the world. Fleetwood Mac. Innovative, exciting, captivating, and after 17 years, more popular than ever. For the next hour, we'll be talking with Mick, Christine, Lindsey, and Stevie. Fleetwood Mac. The rumors and the facts. In 1982, the 14th Fleetwood Mac album was released, Mirage. It was an instant hit. The success and the sound prompted many critics and fans to call it Rumors Part 2, a classification that Mick and Christine almost expected.
I don't know why people would say that. But then a lot of people called it sort of Tusk and Rumors combined and all sorts of things. People put a lot of different labels on it.
You sort of see why. I mean, Rumors and Go to Tusk, which physically obviously was a double album, and we had much more room to be as diverse as we were. So it looked more weird than it actually was, although it was definitely a move in a different direction, especially, for instance, in Lindsey's case. I mean, he got a lot out of his waterwork, so to speak, on that album, which was necessary, and the stuff he did on Tusk was sort of pointing in the direction why there was a need for people to be able to do solo albums, in actual fact. It set the whole theme, the sequence of events that happened during the last couple of years, So from that respect, it's more visible, I think, that everyone is sort of meshed as a band more than it was on Tusk. That's about it,
Definitely participating more on each other's songs on this album than on the Tusk one.
Yeah, there was a couple of songs. Lindsey played drums, when I say drums, he made percussion things, and built songs up. And John didn't play on about 3 of the songs. And on this album, we're all,
playing our own instruments.
And it's just the way things go. I mean, if you can't allow that sort of thing to happen in a band that's been going for as long as we had, I think, I remember when Lindsey sort of said, well, I want to do these songs, and I sort of want to do them at home, and then bring them in. But it's sort of,
what do you want?
Yeah, and that's what he was saying. I sort of don't want you on them. And I sort of don't know how to say, and I said, well, as far as I'm concerned, it's fine. I mean, as long as, quote, it's good, then it's good, If it's bad, then you'll soon know. There's enough people around who are going to tell you.
Sure.
But, I don't think I want to make a habit of that. I mean, I'd be out of work.
Fleetwood Mac made its first official appearance in August of 1967 at the British National Jazz and Blues Festival. The lineup was Mick Fleetwood, John McVie, Peter Green, and Jeremy Spencer. They were a blues band. Their first album was a bestseller in England, and by the end of '68, they had their first #1 single, Albatross. Then the changes began. They added another guitar player, Danny Kerwin. And then they lost a guitar player, Peter Green.
Can't jump about the sheep on me.
John McVie's wife, Christine, joined for the next album. Then Danny Kerwin left. Change seemed to be a way of life, especially when Bob Welch, Bob Weston, and Dave Walker all came and all left before the '70s were half over. In 1975, two new members were drafted, Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. Suddenly, it seemed that Fleetwood Mac had hit the perfect musical combination. Lindsey Buckingham.
A lot of it is chemistry. One thing that I learned in the last year or so is that sometimes chemistry is more powerful than anything you can consciously try to do to make something work. I think that is certainly a good deal of what was happening with Fleetwood Mac. More specifically, maybe, Stevie and I both have a sort of nasal tone to our voices, and Christine has a very airy, round tone. Now, adding ours to hers, I mean, that blend definitely worked. I mean, Stevie and I tended to sound, our harmonies tended to sound sort of like old Bulgarian folk songs or something, you know, and there was definitely a rounding out by having Christine add a third part to that. I think another thing is just in terms of image, just in terms of the visual image, you know, the visual image that Stevie was providing, the two women image even. And other than that, I think maybe certainly one of the things that I have always felt that is one of my main contributions to the band is not really my writing or my singing, certainly my guitar playing, but in a broader sense, really as a producer. And that's something that isn't very visible to the audience in general. They don't see what goes on in the studio. Taking a song of Stevie's or a song of Christine's and working with it and molding it into something that really works as an arrangement and picking up parts. I mean, this all ties in with me working on my own. I mean, it's just what I love to do. I love to work in studios. I've got a real Jones for it, you know, and so that's something that I was able to do for the band, which probably hadn't really been done since Peter.
The 1975 edition of Fleetwood Mac turned into one of the most popular and profitable bands of the decade. Their first album went to the top of the charts and stayed there. It was Fleetwood Mac's first platinum record and their first to hit #1 in the United States. But that was only the beginning. When we come back, Christine, Lindsey, and Stevie talk about Rumors, the trials, and the triumphs. Fleetwood Mac's Rumors is a unique album for a number of reasons. It's the largest selling record ever for a rock group, with over 17 million copies sold. It was #1 in the United States for over 20 weeks, and it won a Grammy Award for Album of the Year. Not bad for a record that was produced under rather trying conditions. Both of the band's couples, the McVies and Buckingham Nicks, were splitting up.
Yes, it's one of the reasons Rumors sold so many, because the pain was right there on the vinyl. We just had a choice to make. Obviously, we had to get through it. It was real painful. There's no doubt about it. But, I mean, it was certainly not any easier for John. I mean, the funny thing is that usually when you break up with someone, you just don't see them anymore. And here we are looking at each other every night on stage.
Everyone goes through emotional bleep, you know, and it was a situation that was out of our control. But we did, because we had 4 other people to think about, not just ourselves and the person with whom we were having the fracas. I mean, it was more complicated than that, and we also knew that it was salvageable. The thing that just came through at the end of it all was, you know, there had to be a hell of a lot of respect for each other, you know, I mean, and ourselves too. I mean, it was just simply a question of saying, this is too good to drop it. Just because my old man wants a divorce, and, you know, I mean, no problem, you know.
I knew it would be okay. We got through the 2 months in Sausalito when it was all happening. We were staying in little one-room places with a couch in bed. The guys were all staying at the record plant house. We were there for 2 months, and it was raining the whole time, and everybody was really upset. But we got our 10 tracks recorded. It was pride, I think. Nobody was willing. Everybody would say, you know, well, if you want to lose, then you lose.
became very competitive then as well, in the sense that we had to be good, we had to be even better, you know. For example, myself and John wanted to be so good, I wanted to be so good, we all wanted to